Hello everyone. So I just got back from the theater from watching Tomb Raider, the movie. And the short disclaimer, like I'm not really that familiar with the Tomb Raider series. So if you want like an in-depth like gaming, how is this compared to the game? Like I haven't played the new games. I played like the old games a little bit when I was younger, but I was never a fan of Tomb Raider. Not because I disliked it, but there are only so many hours in the day, and Tomb Raider was just not one of the series that I ended up prioritizing. But the movies, the old movies with Angelina Jolie, has always been a guilty pleasure of mine because I'm absolutely aware that they're shite, but they're fun shite. Like so that's my disclaimer. Like, this is from a person who isn't really that familiar with Tomb Raider. I've always seen her as like a James Bond, Indiana Jones kind of character, but she just happens to be a woman, and and that was what I kind of expected. I should mention I watched the spoiler-free review of the movie by Movie Bob, and he likened the new Tomb Raider version to like John McClane from Die Hard or something, where like the cool shit it's that they're enduring a lot of pain. But that is not how I read this portrayal of Lara at all. Um, she comes off as way too vulnerable. Um, they set up Lara as this character that refuses to accept that her dad is gone, so she's not rich. She doesn't live off the family fortune. She lives on the street as a what is this, a bicycle carrier, a courier. That's what it's called. Bicycle courier, but somehow still can afford to have a roof apartment in London, which is a little bit, a little bit unbelievable. I don't think the person who wrote this like kind of thought of how expensive um capital apartments used to be, usually are, and especially not what she's supposed to live in as like her poor people home. Like, but she lives off in London, and she finds out that her dad was a treasure hunter, and then she goes off, and that's the entire setup for the movie. So that's not really a spoiler. That's just like that's the setup. Like, she finds out her dad is a treasure hunter, and she decides to like go chase his last his last quest. And from there on out, the movie kind of takes a step back, or it doesn't. Like, Lara takes a step back because the movie ends up being more about all the other characters. Lara Croft doesn't really feel like the main character of her own movie for most of it, and she comes off as like this vulnerable side character that you're supposed to feel sorry for. Like, she comes off as a damsel in distress. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't freak out when they are put in the situations that Lara is put in. Absolutely, they would. But the thing is, when you're seeing the same things happen to John McClane or Rambo, they still toughen it out. They kind of shut off that center of their brain where they're afraid, and they just have to endure the pain. Like, that's the whole like masculine living through the pain and fighting through the pain. You can't go around it. You need to go through it, kind of thing. Um, and that is really not what I'm reading. Lara is portrayed as like this scared little girl, and I really think it's a shame because I think absolutely there is room in cinema for a tough woman who can just endure it and just pull through it and kick ass. And like, of course you would be freaked out by like the situation. Like John McClane also goes like, "Holy shit, what the fuck, what's going on?" But he still like pulls through it. He never just stops and just gasps for air and starts crying, and this comes off wrong. But I really feel like they kind of muted Lara. They kind of I don't see the Lara on screen turning into the Lara we know, the Lara Croft we know, that like runs around fighting dinosaurs and wolves and whatever, and shooting bears without a second thought, and jumping from ledge to ledge like it's fucking nothing. Like you don't see that Lara Croft, and that's like when you go in to watch a James Bond movie, you don't want to see James Bond's first mission where he's like stumble over his feet and oh boy, what kind of shenanigans did Bond get into now? And that's what you're seeing with Lara Croft here. Like she's almost comedically awful in the movie at everything she does, despite like being this tough girl and all. Like I people laughed in the cinema at her. Like they saw it as physical comedy sometimes, and it obviously wasn't supposed to be physical comedy. The shit she goes through, but like there were really some times where she just keeps getting things just keeps getting worse for her, and it turns comedic. Like not even Uncharted comedic, where it's like, oh boy, my luck is so bad. How? Why really? Does it really have to be now? But not just comedic. Just fucking seeing Roger Rabbit going from one catastrophe to the other. That's really what the movie turns into. And that's such a shame because it kind of castrates Lara Croft. Obviously, she wouldn't be as badass on her first mission, but I can't believe that she would ever be weak to this degree. Um, she looks the part. Like the actress looks the part. The all the actors look great. The movie shot beautifully. Like it's a gorgeous movie. Even if I'm not sure why they decided to not really have that much Tomb Raiding in the Tomb Raider movie, but that's besides the point. Like you have this cool island and all these cool characters running around, and the action is good. Like it's such a shame because it's such a competent movie, but they just fucking castrated Lara Croft to such a weird degree, um, that I doubt she's even that like weak in the original game that this movie mostly takes its story from. I heard tales of like a attempted rape scene. I can confirm there is no attempted rape scene. There is a scene where someone tries to disarm her and hold her down, but it never comes off as like, oh yeah, I gotta get it on with this girl, haha, I've gotta pull down my pants. Like, there's none of that. There's no fucking like rape or anything. So you can breathe easily. Breathe easy. There's no like attempted rape scene. There's like a fight, but calling it attempted rape is taking it a tad too far. Like there's no like he doesn't even give her any looks or anything, or it's just two people fighting. Um so yeah, beyond that, like I feel like I definitely think it's better than the old movies, and I kind of look forward to seeing where they're going with it. Like I would be sad if there never was a Tomb Raider 2 movie. Cause there's a lot of sequel bait. Like the entire last 10 minutes of the movie is almost exclusively sequel bait, which is always a red flag. But pretty much all movies these days are like set up to be series. Like people don't invest in single movies anymore. People always invest in at least two movies. It's just the way Hollywood works now. So there's some sequel bait. I have no idea how close it is to the original game. I intend to play the game soon, so look for that on the channel if you want to see me play it blindly, or as blind as it can get. Like obviously I know what happens in the movie, so if the story from the movie is 1-to-1 with the game, like that's what it is. I'm sorry I watched the movie first. The movie is a 7, I would say, out of 10. She doesn't feel like the main character of her own movie. But it has some fun action scenes, and it's definitely like worth wasting an afternoon. Like I'm not particularly regretting watching the movie or anything like that. I'm actually glad I saw it. I don't know. For the most part, I had fun with it. So take that as you will. Don't expect a masterpiece, and don't expect one moment where it's just like, yeah, this clicks, this is awesome. Don't expect that. Just expect like a competently made jungle action movie, and that's what you're going to get. Alright, thanks for listening.